Okay, so I'm gonna try to stick to the damn topic. I always switch things up, but so I have this I guess you would call her acquaintance. Somebody I used to work with. I mean, I never hung out with her, so she's definitely an acquaintance. Like, we're friends on Facebook, and she'll like comment and like some of the stuff, and I'll do on her some of her stuff. Like, she's cool. She's pretty cool. Conservative. So like, she is a lesbian, right? So, and she's in a relationship, and I've noticed she keeps posting stuff about how guys keep on hitting on her at work, even talking about like sexual harassment, guys like saying stuff like that. And it's like, when you're so here's the thing, here's the problem. Like, here's a little bit about like the way guys think. When we're young and we're all full of hormones, you know, probably till you get to it could be up until you get to be like 35 till you start really thinking with your big head, or 40 and not think with your little head. I mean, I've been guilty of this. Like, my ex-fiance, I was thinking with my little head. I wasn't, you know, my big head was telling me it wouldn't work out. So like, and it didn't. But my little head's like, I really like her. I really like her, really. But it's a weird thing that, you know, guys have to deal with, if dealing with our hormones and being with all the testosterone. Like, we can't just like, guys are most guys, okay, most regular guys are built for their purpose is to have a family, have somebody around. That's like what keeps us going, is like living for myself. Okay, for instance, for myself as a man, I'm a single man, right? So when I hate shopping, I hate going to the store, I hate doing, I mean, a lot of it's because like financial reasons. You know, it's really expensive nowadays, so I just don't like to buy stuff. But I would rather just shop on the internet and not even have to deal with it, and going to the store and dealing with all that nonsense. I don't have, you know, anyway, so like, I'm trying to stick to the subject. Yeah, when guys are young at that age, so like, historically, I think the prime age for women in like the barbaric times, you know what I mean, where people would have relations young. They would get married young and have kids young, like at 16. You know, 18 is something probably pretty new to society over the last 100 years or so. I'm not sure. But I know, like, in the past, they really didn't really care too much about age as much, and possibly we might need to up the age from 18 to 21 because I mean, but it, like, I see so many adults that are old like me that are childish, and I'm childish to a certain extent. But you need to have a certain amount of responsibility as well. And anyway, so the guys that are younger, that are like 16, as soon as we go through puberty, man, all of a sudden everything changes for us. We start liking girls. You know what I mean? We start wanting to be around girls. Before, we didn't care about girls at all, and then all of a sudden now we like girls. Now we're interested in girls, which makes sense because they're going through the development stages too when you're young like that. So it's like they start, like, you know, they're getting older, they're becoming a woman. So it's like when you're young like that, you don't really care about relationships, and I think that, you young, I think girls care about relationships. Like the whole thing is like with the genders and stuff like that. When you have a little girl, you get them dolls and stuff, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm sure there's little girls that are like playing with He-Man and G.I. Joe and just just doing boy stuff, like being in the. I'm sure like there's that, and they don't want to have anything to do with dolls. They don't want to play house. They don't want to play like cook. You know what I mean? Like that's what like little girls like to do. Like they have their baby, they take care of whatever, like fake, because typically girls and women, different nowadays, but they wanted to have kids. They wanted to have a husband. From a young age, they wanted that. You know what I mean? So, like, that has definitely changed. I think that a lot of dynamics has to do with the lack of the father. I think the father has just completely destroyed the house. And that's why we are where we are. You like, women don't trust guys. Like, and rightfully so. Like, if I was a woman, I would be so annoyed with guys too. Because I would definitely, I don't know if I'd be like attractive in the face, but I definitely would keep my damn figure. I know I would have a smoking figure if I was a woman. It's like, like, why wouldn't you? I don't understand like that. And I don't understand how, like, even ugly women, like, why would you let yourself go? Like, at least you can have a hot body, you know what I mean? So I guess everyone's coming in at this exact time, and I'm stuck behind a fucking truck. Anyway, so gotta have everyone around me at the same time. Anyway, so the whole thing with like how women are horrible nowadays and the red pill is so easy to hate on. It's like, why are they like that? It's because of the weak fathers, a weak society, weak fathers, and guys. And I was in hookup culture myself. Like, I have a high body count, and it's not something that I like to brag about because I think it's degenerate and it was horrible, and I have nothing to show for it. All those women I've dated, I've gone on dates with, or I've like had intimate relationships with, like, it doesn't, like, all that shit doesn't matter now because I'm still by myself, and I'm still always having it constantly. And these days it's not so much because I don't really like what I see out here. But a lot of these guys are just like completely disgusting. Like, there's women who have sold their farts. They've sold their bathwater on the internet. And guys, obviously somebody I don't know if they're still in business. I don't know how that's a good business, but there was actually people buying that shit. And I seen a video of, I don't know, it looked like it was from a different country. It could be like Asia or something. Like, I think it said China, but I wasn't sure. The guy went up to this random girl. He seen her, he went up to her, and he like turned her around, shoved his face in her ass. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's absolutely horrific. That's horrible. How could you fucking do that? Like, absolutely, tons of guys around. It's like, dude, there's so many fucked up dudes out here that make the rest of us look fucking bad. And the same can be said for women as well. There's just shitty people in general nowadays. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm on the high horse, like I'm perfect or something. Like, I made plenty of mistakes in my day. And I'm sure I'll make plenty more. Like, I'm human. I try not to fuck anybody over. That's the difference, is I try not to. So she was going on about how, guys keep hitting on her, and it's like, my advice would be, if I was in that position and I don't want any type of guys talking to me, I just would keep the conversation short. Don't try to be too friendly. get right to the point. You know what I mean? Just get right to the point. Make it quick as possible. You don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to be a prick. You don't have to be a douchebag. But, just get to the point. Don't try to give more. Don't try... Because, so here's the thing. I'm an average, regular guy, right? And most of us aren't getting any type of attention from women at all nowadays, okay? So the little bit somebody gets... the minuscule somebody gets from a woman, they can misconstrue that, them just being nice, thinking, oh, maybe she does like me, and that's what I would say. I would try to keep the conversation short. I wouldn't give too much information. I would just get right to talk about this, just keep on track with the subject matter. Just right to the point, and, it sucks because you want to be nice to people too, but it's like, if people, that's the thing with guys, and a lot of guys are honestly oblivious to any type of awareness to themselves, to be honest, so they don't know what they're doing. When I say they don't know what they're doing, they don't know how to interact with women at all, and they don't understand any type of social cues where she's just being nice, or she's not making any type of subtle cues to show she's interested in. So for me, especially nowadays, since the Me Too stuff, and there's a good amount of women that decided to, kind of lie about things. And it's I used to talk to a lot of women at work, especially at this place I worked before. I worked here twice. The time before, I was talking to all types of women. I would talk to them all. And the reason why I did this, I talked to as many women as I possibly could, is because if there was a new woman that comes in there, and she sees me talking to all these different women, that's social proof. They're all my friends. All the women that work there are my friends. And then she's like, wow, he's cool. And I know that's manipulative or something like that, but it's plus the people I was comfortable talking to, I like to talk to them. So it's but now since COVID and everything that happened, I'm super ultra conservative how I talk to people, how much I talk to people, what people I talk to, people I try to avoid. I try to shut down conversations or just try to avoid. And I'm to the point with a lot of guys met their wives at work. That's a lot of guys used to do that a certain amount of time. And nowadays, since guys can't meet really women anywhere, women don't really, they said they don't want to be approached anymore, and I think it is. I think you can see it on the internet how guys are the biggest fucking simps. Guys, you see in the comments, they just kiss these women's asses all the time. So I don't kiss women's asses. I'll say nice things if I feel they deserve it. If I feel she's a nice person and she probably hasn't heard this for a while, I'll say something nice. But I prefer the bantering. I prefer to talk shit. That's what I prefer. Going a little bit of sparring back and forth. That's my go-to. But the compliments are basically earned, or just given out of kind of probably haven't had one of these for a while, have you? Because you're kind of older, aren't you? But I think that you're cool, so I'll give you one. I think that you're a good person, so I'll give you one. So I limit my compliments, and it's kind of funny how I realized this 10 years ago. I was just seeing all these guys commenting on Facebook or whatever, these girls, and it's you're commenting, liking, they don't really give a shit. It's not really doing anything. they didn't do this for you. There's this guy that they like that they posted this, seeming like they have a rough time and they're unhappy or whatever, because they want this other guy that isn't giving them attention to see it. That's why they posted. They hope that he'll see that and like, oh, usually that doesn't happen. So because the guy has all frame and he don't give a shit. He probably has other women. He's like whatever, dude. Like, I've been there. I know how it is. But guys are extremely thirsty. Guys are extremely desperate nowadays. Just for any type of like validation from a woman, like that, like whether people want to admit it, whether these guys on the red pill want to admit it or not, like basically their whole content is women. All they really talk about is women. So like they sit here and say that women are the accessory to your life. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? She's not a piece of property. She's not a piece of fabric or anything like that. Like, she's not an accessory. She's a fucking human person. She's a human being with emotions and shit. She's not a thing. You know what I mean? It's like, relationships aren't just one-sided. There's all, you know, there's a leader, of course, but like, but anyway, so it's just like, guys are, like I said, extremely desperate, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, to be honest. Like I said, like for me nowadays, I pretty much, for a woman to want for a woman to get me to make a move, especially at work, or if I was to be going to a gym, somewhere I have to frequent and I'll be there the next day, or you know, somewhere I have to come back to, I'm gonna make sure you're going to make it quite obvious that you like me. And listen, it's not that hard for a woman to show that you don't have to approach us. Like, you really don't. You don't have to come up and start conversations. All you really have to do is like be cute, seem available, and if you want me to come and talk to you, like it's really not that hard. You look at me, you smile, you orbit me. You know, you kind of stay in my orbit a little bit longer than you should. You know what I mean? You go out of your way to talk to me. Or anything like that, like you're going out of your way, seeming like you're going out of your way, then that's like, those are indications for me to be like, okay, so she seems like she could be interested. Other than that, like I don't approach any women now. I haven't done it at all these different places I've worked since pretty much COVID. I think it pretty much since that my ex-supervisor that I dated for a little bit, that I guess I was seeing, I was their fun toy for a little while. After that, and just seeing like the dramatic switch of the way people are, and the way, like, I mean, if you can't notice, if you're old like me, that way more people are introverted nowadays than when I was growing up. So, you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to lose my job. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose my gym membership. I like going to that gym. I mean, in a store, that's different. I get kicked out of the store, I can't go back to that store, whatever. I'll go to another store. It's not that big of a deal. So, like, yeah, like going and hitting on women in some place that you don't have to go back to, that's cool. But like, when you have to go to work, like, these guys need to understand, you need to like give these women their space. I give women plenty of space, and if they're interested in me, then they can like get in my space. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. I feel like I would pursue, and the supervisor lady, oh man, I put myself on a limb for her. She shut me down multiple times, and she dragged her feet to hang out with me, because I think she got in trouble before with like seeing somebody at work. But that was the old style guys used to be. Like, you know, women would turn down a guy back in the day a few times and they ended up married. You know what I mean? He kept pursuing. You can't keep pursuing as a man nowadays because you might get a sexual harassment, something like that on you. You know, a lot of guys aren't aware, I guess. They might have low IQ. I don't know. They could be like autistic, socially they're like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. But some of them do know what the fuck they're doing, and they're just trying to get pussy. Like, just to be honest, like, they just want pussy. And, you know, it's kind of like women, how some women just want the guy for money. It sucks. But this is the degenerate society we live in nowadays, you know, so yeah, that's what I would do if you watch this. That's what I would do. I would probably just keep the conversation to a minimum with guys if you don't want to talk to them. Especially the guys that you feel like don't respect you. Like, I'm sure that you don't feel like this for every guy, but the ones that you feel like don't get it, or new guys that, you know, it's just like, you don't have, you know, for me, I'm fine having 0 friends. I mean, I like to have like a best friend or something like that, but if it's just gonna be me, it's just gonna be me. I don't give a fuck if I'm popular. It doesn't matter to me. Like, whatever. I don't need to be cool with everybody. You know, I don't need to be Mr. Popular. So, and in fact, I try to limit myself as much as I can, having a conversation with people. This is myself because I'm an introvert. It's whatever. Like, you know, just limit the conversation, I guess. So I guess that's it for this video.